Wile E. Coyote, he's standing on this platform. There's a railing, there's a giant loom that he's looking down at. And the loom is cranking out plaid, vroom, vroom, plaid, vroom, vroom, plaid. He's looking over, I think this is a real cartoon. I'm not certain if it's a real cartoon. If it isn't a real cartoon, it's something that I've willed into being, so it might as well be a real cartoon. But anyway, according to my memory of this, he's looking at this plaid being generated, and suddenly behind him comes the roadrunner who goes, of course, beep, beep. It scares the bejesus out of him. He leaps into the air, startled, and he starts to fall. There's only one small problem, and that is that he starts to fall a little bit away from the platform. So he reaches for a railing, and he misses it by that much. He falls into the machinery. He falls into the loom. The camera shifts to the shot of the plaid coming out, and then a sheet of plaid comes out, and there are his snout and his hands and his eyes looking up like, what the fuck? Now, this is a guiding metaphor for me tonight. I became obsessed with something, we'll call it the loom, you know, like the loom. And I was there, and nothing scared me from behind, but I leaned too far over the platform, and I fell into the loom. And this is basically the story of how I came to fall into the loom and didn't mind that much. All right, I know Sills, I know Del Close. I've never seen them together. I'm about to have that treat. It's July 1993. I get a phone call from Barbara Harris. There is going to be a big reunion of a lot of the Second City people up in Bailey's Harbor, which is where Paul Sills lives. Do I want to go? And I say, you betcha, to see all these people together again. It's been 15 years since my book has come out. Thrilled to see these people. I get on a plane and come in, and I say to Barbara, so what about Del? Is he coming with too? And she says, no, Del's pissed off. Sills did not invite him to perform. And Del's attitude is, well, if they don't want me to perform, fuck him. Fuck him. Who cares? Fuck Paul Sills. Hell with him. Fuck him. Fuck him. As I said, he's very articulate. So that night I crash at Barbara's place in her spare room, and the next morning we get up, and Charna Halpern, who's already started I.O., has pulled up the car in front of the house, and we get up there, and in the back seat is Del Close. He can't keep me from seeing my friends. Fuck him. All right, okay, fine. So when we take off, Barbara's in a very good mood. She's doing, I remember vividly, she's doing Minnie Mouse singing a salute to Billie Holiday. You know, oh my mouse, I love him so. And we're having a very good time. And so, Close is still, Del is still stewing on this thing with Sills. And he says, Sills and I never really quite saw eye to eye. And he starts talking about 1962. A bunch of members of Second City go to do a show in London in October. Anybody remember 1962 October, what was happening there? There's a little thing called the Cuban Missile Crisis. Do you think Americans were wildly popular in London at the moment? They sort of thought that we were going to drag them into World War III. So here are these fresh-faced young Americans who are opening a show in the middle of the Cuban Missile Crisis in London. And one of the bits that they do, there's Avery Schreiber, lovely, large guy, curly hair, curly mustache, twinkling eyes, and Avery and Del have this bit where they get a question from the audience. Del gives the question to Avery. Avery is playing a computer. He does a mime, which somehow reflects the question that has been asked. And Del, in the meantime, is thinking of what the answer should be. And when he's got an answer, he snaps his fingers. Avery sticks out his tongue. Del rips off the paper that the tongue represents, and he comes up with an answer. And this is a bit that they've been doing for a long time, and it's a very popular bit. Opening night that they do it, they get a question from the audience. Somebody in the audience says, yeah, I've got a question for you, Yanks. What makes you think, given our experience in the Suez, what makes you think that you're going to fare any better with Cuba? Del instantly goes, because, sir, we have the balls to pull it off. Huge gasp from the audience, then applause, for sheer nerve, I suppose. They get on the front page of half the London papers. And they're very popular around town. They're hanging out with members of the Royal Shakespeare Company and the other actors, and they come up with a game. It is called, remember this is before 1963, it is called the Assassination Game. Okay, the assassination game. Here's the rules. Anybody who's playing the game, if you see them anywhere, if you go bang, they have to die. Spectacularly, theatrically. There are a few exceptions. You cannot shoot somebody at their place of work. You cannot shoot somebody if they're carrying boiling water or an expensive camera. Other than that, if you are shot, you have to die. Bill Alton, who's a member of Second City, is at a very proper garden party with a cup of tea, and he's talking to the head of the BBC, and somebody shoots him, and he dies all the way down the front of the head of the BBC, who stands there horrified. What the hell has happened? And Barbara says to Del, Del, I heard that you fell down 7 flights of stairs. And he says, oh, I don't know where these stories come from. So exaggerated. It was only 5. But he says, but Sills never understood. He says, why are you guys shooting each other? He says, you shouldn't be shooting each other. You should be kissing each other or hugging and embracing each other. And it should be like a chain of affection that goes. He says, Sills never got it. He says, of course you only shoot the ones you love. Okay, we get to Bailey's Harbor, and it becomes apparent why this is happening. One of the players is a wonderful, extremely physical comic actor named Dick Shaw. He's had an operation that has gone wrong. He has lost most of the use of his legs. He is deeply depressed. And so Sills has called everybody together, the family together, to buoy him, to give him somebody to play with. Even his ex-wife, Dick's ex-wife, Valerie Harper, comes in. You know, it's quite a group of people. And Sills has arranged the evening. The evening is going to be an evening of these amazing people doing theater games. Del, of course, is furious. He says, oh, for Christ's sakes, man, you've got the best goddamn improvisers in the world, and you're having them do theater games. It's like you got the Bolshoi and you're having them square dance. But the evening is lovely. It's very funny. People are doing wonderful stuff. At one point, Dick is doing the scene with Avery Schreiber, a series of transformations. They end up where Avery is a sadistic piano teacher, and Dick is playing, and Avery slams the lid down on Dick's fingers, and Dick gently lifts up the lid and gently replaces the tips of each of his fingers. Wonderful, wonderful work. It's been wonderful. At the end of it, Del goes up to Paul and says, Paul, you know, it occurs to me, Avery's here, I'm here, you know, we could do the old computer bit. I think that would go over pretty well. I'd be willing to do that. And Del says, you know, Paul says, you know, Del, sorry, I'm getting my proper names confused. You know, Paul says, you know, Del, that's a very generous offer. But, you know, I think we've got our show. But thank you anyway. Fucking asshole, fucking asshole, fucking asshole, fucking asshole, fucking asshole. Del is not happy. Second show, also wonderful. At the end of it, we all go across the street. There's a bar over there. There's a pool hall, pizza parlor, whatnot. I'm standing there. Somebody nudges me in the ribs. It's Valerie Harper. She says, look over there. There's Barbara Harris and Paul Sand standing with pool cues, just their outlines. It looks like it's 20 years, 25 years have dropped off, and they're the kids they were back in the beginning of Second City in 1960. But Del is still pissed off, and he's sitting at a table, and he's eating his pizza, and he's just not happy. And he looks across the way, and there's Dick Shaw sitting directly across from him, and he goes, bang! And Shaw, despite the situation with his legs, goes flying out of his chair, up against the wall, and dies the most spectacular death down the wall you can imagine. And for the first time that weekend, Del smiles. It occurs to me, there's an old saying that home is the place where if you show up, they have to take you in. They don't have to take me in, but they do take me in. Thank you for your kind attention.